Welcome to another FiddleHed fiddle lesson. Glad you made it, because today we're going to do a really fun tune called Flop-Eared Mule. I'm going to play the whole thing at a medium speed and then break it down for you note by note, phrase by phrase. Here we go. And so on. Alrighty, so let's start with the A part. And actually, before doing the A part, I recommend playing the G major scale a little bit. It's always a good idea to play the tune's scale before and during the practice. So here we go. G major scale up to 4th finger on E. All right, thanks for doing that. And I think it's worth your while to not only to just do that on your own in practice, but even right now, I would, especially if you're just starting to play and warming up, I would pause the video and practice that for just a little bit, the G major scale. All right, thanks for doing that. And now we're gonna begin the tune. It begins on first finger on A, A1. It's gonna begin like this. Twice on A1 to D3. And add a quick 1 at the end. You could kind of play them all evenly, but when it gets sped up this way, it will sound kind of cool. Like you could play. But I think it's more interesting and will sound better faster to do a longer third note. All right, and then after that, we go to open D, open 1, open. And then on G string, 3, 2, 1, open. So we have the next little phrases. Here's that again. So the whole first quarter is here it is again. Okay, good. Now let's take a moment and loop this phrase, okay? Three, 4. Again. All right, so always a good idea to loop some of the parts in the tune. This one in particular, because the third quarter is kind of similar, so if you get this down, it'll make it a lot easier to learn the third quarter. All right, let's move on to the second quarter now. I'm just gonna play the entire second quarter and then break it down. All right, so The beginning is just a D major scale going up. So as you see, that's why we do these scales, and why I encourage you to do it, because they're just, the tunes are built on them. They're just filled up with scales, these tunes are. So if you really take that to heart, not only will you be able to better play these tunes, but you'll kind of see the whole point of scales. You'll see the beauty and the utility of doing scales. So this second quarter begins like, and then we follow that with A low 2 1 open. We have. And then the next bit is just a G scale going up, but starting the upper octave of it, starting D3. Just straight up the scale. Alright, I'm now going to play the entire second quarter slowly. Okay, so take a moment, maybe review that, practice that, and then if you're good with that, then we can now do the first half. Here we go, 3, 4. Alright, excellent. And now what I'm going to do is add the pickup. There's a little 2-note pickup we do to begin the tune. And a pickup in general is just like a little introduction to the tune, or a lead in to it. And so the pickup starts on beat 4, and it's D3 to open A. And so I count it like 1, 2, 3, and so on. So now this same pickup we'll use again later to begin the third quarter. It'll make more sense in context. For now, I'm just going to count in 3, and we'll play the first half of the A part to Floppy or Mule. 1, 2, 3. And that's it. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. Good, let's move on to the third quarter. Third quarter is like the first quarter, but it begins different. So the whole third quarter is... So it begins like this, A1 to D3 back to A1. Then we add an open A. And then we add on D string 3, 4, 3, 1. Now instead of doing that fourth finger on D, if you're uncomfortable with that, you can use open A. I like the fourth though, so that's how I'm going to teach it. So you have I like the fourth because it's less than that, you can kind of play quicker and more smoothly. You don't really need to go to that A. But it's up to you. So, and then the second part of this, the third quarter, is this, which you know already. That's how the first quarter ends. So now, again, listen to the whole third quarter slowly. All right, one more time. There I used the open A instead of the fourth without really thinking about it. The fourth quarter the A part is like the second quarter, but it's a little simpler. We just do the, well, I'll just play it once. So we just kind of do it like the second quarter, but we end on a long G3, two long G3 notes. 1, 2, 3. Here it is again. So make sure you have each quarter of the tune now. I recommend, if you don't, then rewinding to specific parts. And you may want to just take a moment to pause the video and practice each of the quarters separately and make sure you totally got it. Okay, good. Thanks for doing that. And now we're going to do the entire A part with the pickups. Oh, and I didn't explain the pickup to the third quarter. So the third quarter was... So we do the same pickup as we do in the beginning. We're going to lead in the third quarter with... Alright, so I'm going to play the entire A part twice with the pickups. And if they're uncertain, you can not do the pickups if you're unsure about it. You don't need to. Or you can just listen and see how it sounds, how it works, okay? Either way, here we go. I'm going to count in 3, then we come in on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Pickup. Alright, so again, if any of that was unclear, either listen or rewind and listen to the individual quarters, pause and practice it. Now I'm going to move on to the B part, and I'm going to play the first quarter of the B part, and then we're going to break it down note by note. So it's going to start E3. And we're going to do 3, 1, low 2 in a hoedown pattern. Long, short, short. Okay, and then we're going to do this twice in a row. That's how it happens in the tune. Try that again. Okay, and now let's try to do the next bit, which starts E3 as well. That's 3, 4, 3, low 2 on E. And then we kind of walk down the scale starting E1. 1, open, A3, A1. So, it's the second half of the first quarter. Now listen to the whole first quarter. That last note is really just a pickup to the second quarter, so it'll make more musical sense in a minute when we learn the second quarter. So, okay, let's move on to the second quarter. And by the way, that the first quarter I think is identical to the third quarter. So if you really practice that, why don't we just take a moment and loop on the first quarter, because I think it'll pay off, because then we automatically are good at the third quarter. First quarter, 3, 4. Okay, thanks for doing that. And now we're gonna do the second quarter, which goes, I'll play the whole thing. Believe it or not, if you really learn the A part well, you have this already. Basically, this is the same as the second quarter of the A part, which was, but we start it on the A string. Isn't that cool? But I'll break it down a little bit more slowly, just in case that's confusing. So basically, the second quarter of the B part, we're gonna start like an A major scale. Open, 1, 2, 3. Followed by E low 2, 1 open. Putting it together. And then we're going to follow that starting A3, walking up a D scale. A little slower. But here's the entire second quarter of the B part. Again, just to drive the point home, maybe now that you're starting to hear that, it makes sense. It's the exact same part as the second quarter of the A part, but it's moved up to the A string. So the second quarter of the A part was starting on open D, and now the second quarter of the B part starts on open A. So thanks for your patience with that explanation. I'm not sure if it was too much information or too little, but I love making these connections in the tunes and between tunes and scales and the patterns that exist inside the tune. All right, so the third quarter, again, if you don't have that second quarter, just work on it a little bit right now. Third quarter is the same as the first, and we looped it already, so hopefully you got it, but here it is again. Fourth quarter of the A, following the way it's done in the structure of the A part, sorry, the fourth quarter of the B part is this. So recall, the fourth quarter of the A part was same thing with starting on D. And now we do, for the fourth quarter of the B part, we just start with the same fingering, but on A. A little slower. So I just want to pause and have you just think about how, with these tunes, if you don't rush through them, if you get the first 2 bars of the A part down, it often just yields such good returns as you go through the tune. If you're really solid on that, and then maybe really solid on the A part before you do the B part, sometimes the B part will be a snap because you already have everything you need for it, or you just need a few extra with little parts or something. So just keep that in mind when you're learning. Don't hurry too much. Learn the things you're working on really well before moving on to the next thing. All right, I'm now going to play the entire B part. Actually, but we're going to do the pickup to the B part first. So the pickup to the B part is this, starting first on E to low 2. All right, and then it'll start on beat 4 and it'll lead into the B part like. Makes sense? And so this pickup is also the pickup to the third quarter of the B part. So it's the same kind of structure as the A part in that way. The pickup is used on the first and third quarters. So that's perhaps a lot of talk. It's not making sense. Sometimes the best thing is to just listen. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the B part twice with the pickups. And if it's confusing, just try to listen and let your ear figure it out. If you got it, then try to play along. And here we go. We'll count in 3, playing it twice. 1, 2, 3. Pickup. Pickup to the A part. Alright, I'm going to do the end of the B part again, picking up to the A so you can see how that works. One, two, three. Then we go back to the A part like that. So I think you have everything you need to get this tune. Just rewind to the various parts. The last thing I'll talk about is some bowing ideas. There's a lot of eighth notes in this tune, like so let's see. Let's just stick with the B part since you just played it and learned it. So a bowing I like to employ on this is slur 2, separate 2. So you can practice that on a scale like by doing like a D scale. Open 1, slur, separate, separate. Slur 2, separate 2. I want to make sure I make that clear. So it's slur 2, separate, separate, slur 2, separate, separate. And then on the tune, it'll sound like slur, slur, separate, separate, slur, separate, separate, slur. Let me just play it. It'll be easier for me to play it, not say it. It kind of creates a hoedown effect, a long, short, short. I'll play it faster. And use it on the A part too for this. And then and remember that these bowings are just a suggestion. You don't have to do them. And in fact, this whole tune, this version I'm giving you is just a kind of a general way of doing the tune. There's a lot of different ways you can do it, a lot of different ways you'll hear it played on recordings and live. So I think that's it for this lesson. The next lesson I'm going to do is another one on flop-eared mule, but it'll be a slightly more advanced lesson because you'll need raised third finger. And we're going to do a really cool thing in the next lesson. We're gonna take the A part, which in this beginning lesson, the A part was played a little lower, and in the next lesson, the intermediate or advanced lesson, we're gonna do it higher, and then we're gonna do the same flip flop for the B part. Instead of playing the B part up high, as we did just now, we're gonna play it lower. So it'll be really fun. And then at the end of the next lesson, we'll maybe do a whole time through the first version, whole time through the second version. And so it's a great kind of fiddling technique to kind of flip to the lower or upper octave and see what you come up with. All right, so hope that was helpful and fun. We'll see you soon. Bye. Thanks for watching the video. Excellent.